Hello, my name's Frank Sands. Welcome to my boxing coach. Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. The dust has settled on the welterweight title fight. I wanted to take a bit of time to go through what I think were the key things. What could we learn about the two fighters? And if they were to fight again, not that I think they should, but if they were to fight again, what could Errol Spence Jr. do differently to maybe try and make it more competitive next time? Before we get started, go download your book, The Beginner Boxer Toolkit. 68 pages packed full of information and insights that will get you on your boxing journey. How to set up your own home gym, the 10 core skills that you must learn with links to videos, how to build the right mindset, how to set up your training regime, heavy bag shadow boxing, building power and building speed. There's something in there for every step of your journey. There's a link down below. Click that link, go and enter your email, and I will send it to you to your inbox. There will also be a link at the end. Okay, let's get started. And we're not going to do video analysis here. This is as if you and me were talking in this gym actually, and we were trying to learn what we could learn from the fight. So let's walk through it round by round. First round, more interesting than you might think. They both exchanged jabs, really. There was the occasional backhand, but both southpaw. Crawford stayed southpaw throughout the fight. I thought he would do that. I think he changes orthodox when he feels in control, but he's more comfortable as a southpaw. But it was a very even round. It was long range. Not a lot went on. However, I felt the round was broadly even. So that should have told Errol Spence Jr. that actually long range is something he can work on here. He could have driven that long range sort of strategy throughout the earlier rounds. In round number 2, this is where the knockdown happens, and this is absolutely key, I think. It's a demonstration of what actually the key thing that went round. I'm going to demonstrate everything in orthodox, but the point is this: obviously, as two southpaws, you know, just convert it. Errol Spence, throughout the fight, was pushing from. So some people think of boxing as having 3 ranges: short range, mid range, and long range. I actually define it as having 5 ranges: short range, mid range, long range, edge of range, and then out of range. So out of range is when you're at no risk at all. The opponent can't hit you. Edge of range is just beyond, an inch beyond the outstretched arm, okay? And this is a really important range in boxing, I think. I think it's absolutely critical. So you can move from the edge of range into long range, fire your shots and be back out. And it can be as simple as that little movement, in, out, out. So you can go 1, 2, and out, 1, and out, 1, yeah? So I think one of the key problems here was that Errol Spence was almost launching his attacks from out of range, stepping in to long range and staying there. He wasn't pushing back out. He wasn't covering enough ground. So it's a mix of launching his attacks from slightly too far away and then doing nothing with his feet. His feet were too static. I mean, this is manna from heaven for Terence Crawford. The first, I will demonstrate this in southpaw. The first knockdown, Crawford didn't really even need to move away. So he didn't need to do his push out. He's a nice straight line fighter. He does fantastic straight lines. He didn't even have to do that. He just kind of stopped, bang, bang, and it was the jab that knocked Spence down. Crawford's guard, nice and high, ready to adjust the feet constantly as Spence comes in. But here's the key thing. Spence is launching his attacks, landing in the kill zone, because that's where he is. Make no bones about that. Crawford, he's in Crawford's kill zone. And he stays there. He doesn't do anything with it. Doesn't even get them hands up, recognising he's in against one of the best fighters in the world. Not good. Another thing. This is a world title welterweight fight. Errol Spence did not throw a single straight backhand throughout the whole fight. Didn't throw a 1-2, boom, boom. All of his two-shot work at long range, he was going one, and then bringing this big, you know, up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, mate, you're going to get absolutely pummeled here if you can't start firing these straight right. So he's coming off the jab into the kill zone, and he's not bringing that big power shot in, that big backhand straight down the pipe. Why? I can't understand that. I've never seen it happen in my whole life. I've never seen a fighter at that level get in a ring and fire two of the first shots that we learn in boxing. The jab and the straight backhand. Always with these big hooks. And if he did get close, and he started getting close in the third round, there was no finesse around his close range work. Unusual. Usually he's precise and solid with those close range shots. Wasn't there. Round 4 is where I think his heart got broke. I think the wheels really fell off. Look, fighters can bleed. Fighters can smile. Fine. I actually don't think smiling's a good idea in a boxing. I remember when I was boxing, if I'd hit someone, bang, and they started smiling, I'd think, yeah, you're either unhappy that I actually managed to hit you, or that actually hurt a bit more than you're trying to let on. The ones that worry you is when you hit them with everything you've got, and you just take it and just keep coming forward, and they keep deadpan, emotionless. You know, that's enough to that's enough to put you off your frosties of a morning. But when a fighter bleeds and smiles at the same time, I thought his head had gone. I think he's any strategic or tactical thinking he was doing up until that point was gone. I think after that point it was just about bravery. Great thing about Crawford is he didn't even start tying up then. So what he starts doing then is, as Spence comes up close, he covers, puts his forearm up, pins Spence's hands and pushes him away. So now Spence, he's just banging, pushing him back out. So Spence's up close work is finished. So he's not throwing 1-2s. He's stepping into the kill zone. Even when he's getting up close, he's not being effective. Round 5, things get even worse. Then Crawford turns off the jab tap. Every time Spence tries to use his jab, Crawford's punishing him. Either with his own jabs, bang, or he's even laying back and getting them straight backhands in. Because he knows now there's no risk, no straight backhands coming back at him. It's all fine. Round 6, he begins to stalk the stalker. So he starts putting the pressure on the pressure fighter. And you see, we're in the early rounds, Crawford's hands are up nice and high. In the 6th round, he's a lot more relaxed now, and he's putting pressure on. His hands are dropping slightly. Round 7, the 2 knockdowns. He's forcing the overcommit. Spence is now becoming desperate. This fight is going away, and he's brave. But look, bravery is that's a commodity inside the boxing ring that is in ample supply. All fighters have outrageously ridiculous sort of bravery. That's why, Eddie Futch in the 14th round in Manila, Joe Frazier against Muhammad Ali. Eddie Futch didn't ask Frazier whether he was okay to continue. No boxer is ever going to say, no, I'm not. So Spence is brave, undoubtedly. But now he's just overcommitting all the time. And give Crawford credit. Crawford is doing that. He's making Spence overcommit. Round 8, Crawford's doing this little thing where he's kind of leaning in, he's moving forward, gradually forward, but he's leaning his body forward. This is not him. Usually his body weight is absolutely central, but now he's starting to lean it forward. So he's starting to put pressure on, getting Spence to commit even more. So his head's in range, but his sort of feet and the rest of him is out of range, and he's just bump, 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 bump. Patience, pressure, punishment, 3 Ps in round number 8. And in round number 9, again, Crawford's getting desperate, but still throwing a big looping shots and he just takes the incoming. And again, I got to give the guy credit for his bravery, but Crawford in that last round, his hands were back up high, and he's bam, 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 he's just on top. So brilliant, look, Crawford, masterful, patient, his footwork, his grasp of the basics, his range appreciation, understanding where he is in relation to the opponent. Spence Jr., I mean, look, I think if they fight 100 times, Spence never wins. But if I'm his trainer, and I'm thinking, what do we do next time? He's determined to take this fight. Despite the fact that he's got best part of 30 million in the bank. If I were him, I'd walk away from the sport. He had that car crash. I don't think he's been terribly active the last few years. I'd find some other purpose in life now. He's proved everything he needs to. Fantastic fighter, walk away. But it's not going to happen, is it? Boxers, their own worst enemy. But I would, next time out, I would work my long range stuff. I would try and see if the basics done exceptionally well can trouble Crawford. I'd learn to throw my straight backhands again. One of the primary weapons in the sport, and this is a welterweight world title fight, and he never threw one. So yeah, I'd go with long range primarily if I was going out next time. Hope he doesn't. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget, download your book, The Beginner Boxer Toolkit. There should be a link round about here. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope that was insightful and gave you something to think about. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.